What's up, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls Pregame. Presented by PointsBet.
Who?
Use that promo code CHGO when you sign up to live your bet life. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. That's my friend Big Dave. Follow him on Twitter at BAWL Sports. That's my other friend Will Gottlieb. Follow him at Won't Gottlieb. We are collectively at CHGO_Bulls. Woo! Woo! Winnable game tonight, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Bulls Knicks, MSG, March 28th. Fairly historic day in Bulls history for a lot of reasons. All of them, Michael. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But let's start with this.
Sure.
We've gotten a lot of good news, bad news, pre-game injury updates over the last 2 months. Nothing but good news. You look at all of the Zach LaVine in and out of the injury report. DeMar DeRozan got a game off for rest. He's been dealing with that nagging groin injury. Alex Caruso's had a bad back. The only person on the injury report is still just Lonzo Ball dealing with his knee. Other than that, clean injury report. I feel like we should throw a freaking parade.
Well, first of all, I have another question. Where did you get this sweater?
This? Oh, my mommy got it for me.
That is amazing.
It was a Christmas present a few years ago.
That is really nice.
And I've had it for years, and I only wore it the one time on Outsiders, and then somebody was like, yo, it looks really weird on the green screen, so don't wear that anymore. No green screen here,
green
folks.
Screen here, baby. It's nice. But yes, it's nice to hear that. It feels great knowing we've been hearing stuff like 6 to 8 weeks. I'm tired of those two numbers. They're getting on my nerves. It's good to hear that. I'm anxious to hear the news about Lonzo. Probably hear something on Thursday about where he is. But, yeah, it's just good to hear the Bulls are almost a fully healthy basketball team.
Yeah, it sounds like Lonzo news will be coming either Wednesday or Thursday. He's obviously here in Chicago. The Bulls are still on their 5-game road trip, which wraps up tomorrow night in D.C., and so hopefully we'll hear more from Lonzo. He's been doing some weightlifting and stuff, very low impact, but starting probably Thursday will end that 7 to 10 day period, and after that we'll get an update. But then also they'll start to ramp him up, see how his knee responds to it, and then we'll have a better idea of whether he can come back for the playoffs.
And it's interesting too, because this is why Arturas and Mark didn't really make any trades, was for this time right now. They thought everybody would be complete and healthy, and they're like 98% right so there close. What they thought it would be, man. So yeah, hopefully some good news, man.
Hopefully some good news. Yeah. I think for me, just speculating here, it seems like the longer we don't hear anything, the worse it gets. So I'm really curious to hear what they have to say later this week. There will be an update. Yeah. People keep asking about it. They're going to have to say something.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's substantive, and hopefully it's good news.
Meanwhile, the Knicks are very much so an injury-bit team right now. Julius Randle did play in their game yesterday against Detroit, which, by the way, Knicks on the second night of a back-to-back here. Good news for the Bulls.
Always good.
But Randle's been dealing with a quad. He did play through it yesterday, and from what I have seen, is planning on playing again tonight. But D-Rose, our old friend, out still with that ankle. Cam Reddish out with a shoulder, although what's the difference? Because Tibbs wasn't playing him anyway ever since he came over in that trade.
My God.
And I believe Nerlens Noel and Quentin Grimes also both out. Noel with a foot, Grimes with a knee. So this Knicks team is shorthanded and kind of limping to the finish line. However, they are still not mathematically eliminated from the play-in and have won their last 3 games. Joey, let's take a look at those updated Eastern Conference standings so you can see not only where the Bulls are, but where the Knicks are.
Wait, where are the Knicks? I can't see.
So they're right there under that line separating 10 and 11.
There are teams down there?
There are teams down there. Remember when we were down there?
The two are playing today and tomorrow.
Right yeah, absolutely there. Right, yes.
So Bulls pretty much still where they were after the win on Saturday. 5th and trailing, the teams above them by at least 3 games.
Yeah.
They've got a game on Toronto and 2 on Cleveland. And the Knicks 4.5 back of the Hawks for that final spot in the play-in. So, I mean, I don't know if any of those Knicks players are still feeling like, hey, we're going for this. But they've got 7 games left, including tonight, and 4.5 back. That's not impossible mathematically, but it's pretty much next to impossible.
True, but until you tell them that there is absolutely zero chance that you can be in the playoffs, they're going to continue to play hard. And their coach is not going to let them let up. So he's going to be on them to play hard. And he actually gave Randall play, like 31 minutes, I think, in the previous game. So Yeah, that shows a little growth by Tibbs like that.
Yeah,
But
Tibbs teams are always gonna come out and play, especially against the Bulls.
Correct, correct.
You know he's
Quad
got a little
pride.
something up his sleeve. for
Always,
tonight.
right? It's
He
true.
always wants to show this team that they lost by letting him go. So
He does.
it'll be a hard fought game. I mean, they lost to him. Was it their 5th game of the season? That was the game Mitchell Robinson took out Pat Williams at the rim and caused that injury. So they're always going to compete with the Bulls.
Yeah.
And as Matt alluded to, they've got that storied rivalry going on. So there's always a little something there.
Oh, it's gonna be
The Dash Law in the YouTube comments.
That's
saying
Lawrence,
that-
by the way.
Oh, saying Knicks
Lawrence?
are already on the golf course.
No, man. They lifting weights and breaking rocks. Like Tibbs is wild, man. You don't get no offseason with him, bro. Like, he's a different person. He really is.
Adam said Stephen A. Smith's Knicks. I didn't know he bought them. Congratulations, Stephen A. Put up 38 in the 4th against the Heat, and the Bulls love giving random dudes career nights. Both things are true. And that was one of the Knicks' recent wins, was beating that Miami Heat team, which is now reeling, which is just filling me with all kinds of joy.
It's fun to watch. It really is.
I love it.
Basketball is fantastic.
And yeah, I mean,
Love it.
Will, you love throwing out that phrase trap game. And I saw that you had a couple in your preview for this
There's
week
2
ahead.
trap games back to back. One of
Right.
them-
We've got Knicks tonight
I've never
and
seen
Wizards
anything like it.
and Wizards tomorrow. 2 of the most winnable games left on the schedule. So, but you
The
feel like that
two
maybe
most.
tomorrow's the trap game and the Bulls are going to handle their business tonight?
I think they probably end up getting one of the 2 just because every time I think they're going to beat the Pelicans, they lose. And I just want to prepare myself for that emotionally. But I do think they'll get one of these 2, and it'll probably be tonight just because, the Bulls also got to get up for the Tibbs game too.
Yeah. And it's good that I think that's also good that they got that win Saturday. The other thing, of course, it's great for them in the
it's so good
standings.
they got that win
Something,
Saturday.
well, tell him. It's so good they got that in the standings and everything like that. But it's just good they got that because they haven't been a good road team. So for them to show that
right.
they could do that on the road, now they're going into Madison Square Garden, you know what I'm saying, the Mecca, to do that. I don't care what the Knicks are. It's still Madison Square Garden. So to go in and do that against them tonight, I think will go well for them, man.
And my brother lives in D.C., so he's going to the game tomorrow night.
Dude,
And
my brother's going to the game tonight.
They got to
he's
win
there.
both of them then.
Oh, you got to do it for the
You don't
family,
throw-
baby.
All right, so I have to send my brother out on one of their last remaining road trips?
Yeah,
Is that what you guys
they're
are telling
probably
me?
not allowed in those stadiums, so I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
No Pecks allowed.
No packs allowed is a thing. It's a
That
thing.
is partially true at the Garden. But I mean, like, it's what you said, like the Bulls got to get up for this Tibbs game too. There's nobody left from the Tibbs era. Nobody, not a one. Jerry and Michael are still here. That is it when it comes to the Tibbs era.
You don't think that matters? Jerry and Michael?
I think at this point they have all at least face value, brushed up their past differences and have moved on. Like, you know.
Tibbs doesn't coach like it though, right?
Tibbs coached Zach LaVine for a year in Minnesota, right? So there's maybe
did.
a little something.
Little
He
something
did.
there and traded him.
Derrick Rose is probably going to get MVP
One of the
chance.
25 head coaches Zach LaVine has had in his NBA career.
It's true. It happened. But Tibbs, you're right. Tibbs, you can tell it means something to him when he coaches. It means something a little. There's a little more stank in his voice when he's yelling. There's plenty of it there always, but there's just a little extra.
Maybe Joakim will be in the house and Ambassador Joakim. And
Ambassador Joakim at the Garden, even though he's our ambassador.
Yeah, he'll
I mean, he
travel.
And
played,
also a former Knick.
and lives in New York.
Yeah.
Like he might be there. It's true. He might be in the house.
Taj
tonight.
I don't
Taj
know.
will probably be
he
there. He's
also
on the
has a
Knicks
place
roster.
in. Pretty sure he also has places in Southern California and Hawaii, Dave. So if I'm Joakim, I'm not.
Yeah.
What, just like sleeting in New York, like it is
I'm a
in
little
Chicago?
concerned you just rolled that off real quickly, like
Yeah,
that.
because
Like,
I
you just
follow
knew
him
that.
and his gorgeous life partner on Instagram.
You do, and you send me. Yes, I remember now.
Yeah.
I do remember you were like, "Hey, man, look at this." I'm like, "Why are you sending me pictures of his girlfriend with that?"
Because there are photos of Joakim on there and videos of Joakim on there. And I'm stalking him, not her.
man. Excuse me. All right, pardon me, man.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, right. We need a clarification on that. That's true.
With our first Oscars joke of our
Oh,
night,
we knew it was coming.
Todd Packer saying the Bulls are going to slap the Knicks harder than Chris Rock.
Eh, you can do a little better.
I've heard better.
Low hanging fruit.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Where's the neuralizer?
Yeah, you don't want the. We don't want neuralize on that one, man. All right.
Erase that one from
You
my
have
memory.
been neuralized, sir. He does not like your joke.
Boom.
There you are. Oh, Never happened.
Adam saying that
that
Tibbs is
happened,
going to be screaming ice, ice, ice. I do miss hearing that low bellowing screaming from the Bulls sidelines every once in a while.
I went to a game in New York this year. I sat right by the Knicks bench, close enough where I could hear Tibbs. Every time someone messes up, damn it, Mitch, screaming to the bench like Taj, like Mrs. Roach, Mitch, and then Mitchell, Mr. Roach, Taj. The voice.
Did it make you want to play?
No, I would have been getting screamed at.
Like, you might want to play basketball. I told you, when I hear Tibbs say playoff, it's like he's the only coach I ever heard. When he says the word play, it sounds like a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, everybody wants to play. Everybody was doing it. Tibbs just sounds like, you know what? Don't want to do it. Don't want to play, Tibbs.
The Tibbs experience is so unique.
It is.
He comes in and he gets you to overachieve by probably 5 games, maybe 10.
Yes.
And things are just going great. He's the best coach in the league. And
then your body breaks apart.
You lose in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then the next year it's like, okay, we're done with this.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that a little bit further and just what exactly has gone wrong for the Knicks and if this is it for Tibbs this season. We also want to touch on something that Big Dave wanted to talk about, which is Zach and DeMar free throw numbers recently. We will do that all up next. But first, Big Dave, speaking of fun and
people
playing,
what they want.
do both at PointsBet.
Oh, Will just put it on me, so I got to do it. This one going out to Joey, too, because Joey laughed at something. I want to know what it is after this, Joey. Fill me in. The best way to support CHGO is to download that PointsBet app and use that code CHGO when you sign up. And if you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. No. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of that web content, and you'll even get a free T-shirt of your choice from the CHGO Lacha. And that's 2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, a free T-shirt, all for making a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. And also, introducing, don't tell nobody, PointsBet's new feature, live college basketball same-game parlay. For that first time ever, you can build that perfect live same-game parlay only at PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. And if you want more, because I know you do, I was pointing at you, Joe. You got to come on, baby. I'm with you. You can also boost your live same-game parlays. You can watch live, parlay live, boost live, all with PointsBet. And if you're here in Illinois, because you're an awesome human being, you can download that PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. And during PointsBet's Match Madness, all users can earn up to $100 in free bets. You heard me, 100. Each round, just place a $50 pregame wager and get a free $5, $10, $15, $20 live bet to be used for that round. So what are you waiting for? Because once that game starts, ladies and gentlemen, you don't just bet. Tell them what you do, Will.
You live your bet life.
Oh, with PointsBet. Hit me one time, Joey.
Pow! I'm sorry, is he saying pow? Pow! Sorry, I got to get back in the sound effects library, so I went homemade on that one.
Yo, he did live sound effect.
That just reminded me
We
of
are
when
off the rails today.
In the pregame. Yo, son, I've
Gotta
never
pull one
heard
out
that in
for
my
you.
life.
Yeah,
Thank God this is not going out as a podcast.
I've never heard.
honestly,
I wish it was.
maybe we should.
Yeah,
maybe this should be the first pregame podcast.
Hey, man, congratulations to you. That's called playing hurt and still trying to score. Shooting with your left hand even though your right hand is broken.
Tristan Thompson.
You know what that made me think of?
He
That
didn't
homemade
deserve that.
sound effect?
He did not deserve
Ben
that.
Simmons.
That homemade sound effect reminded me of when we had Pow for a couple of years, and Stacy would always yell, "Pow, pow, pow!"
Pow, pow.
after he would make big buckets.
For a second, I thought he was saying bow. Like for a quick second, I was like, wait, he's shouting out ball.
Is it a B or a P?
Is it a B or P?
We'll never know.
And then he kept going. I was like, oh, man, that's amazing.
All right, y'all. I'm back on the same game parlay train tonight.
Oh,
here it
goodness.
is,
We
real
should be
quick.
terrified.
I won a huge same game parlay Sun Sixers yesterday.
Cody!
I'm in a great mood today.
Shout
I came
out.
up with this one on my own. This
I
was
still got
not.
to shout him out because it's about gambling.
Oh, okay.
Shout out Cody
well,
when
yeah.
it's gambling, man.
Shout out Cody always.
Always, but especially when it's about gambling.
Here we go. DeMar, 20-plus points tonight. Vooch, 15-plus points tonight. Randall, 20-plus points tonight. Caruso, over 3.5 assists. And Zach LaVine to make 2 or more threes. 500 odds. I hit that daily booster on it, plus 554 for your 5-leg same-game parlay. Boom. Shakalaka.
You feeling good about that, ain't you?
Feel good about it.
Yeah, you look like it. You look like it.
There's nothing better than winning same-game parlays on consecutive days. I'm 1 for 1 between yesterday and today. I just need to go 2 for 2.
And he can do it. I believe in him, man. I believe in Matt Peck.
It's so kind. I need that validation,
Hey,
Dave.
man, parlay Peck. He ain't parlay Peck for no reason, baby. Come on, man. This is the thing.
All right, so Dave, we talked about this a little bit on some recent episode post-game, but you wanted to get a little bit more into the kind of switch around of what the Bulls have done free throw-wise between Zach and DeMar, their 2 All-Stars.
Yeah, man. It was the last post-game. I kind of was looking at it, and shout out to my man Dre from According to Sources, because he's the one that first mentioned this to me and then just sent me on I just went into a deep dive real quick when he said it. But the free throw attempts, I noticed that LaVine, it seemed like he was getting to the line a little bit more than DeMar. He wasn't getting those calls. So you can see the numbers right there that LaVine, since this All-Star break, since that happened, 105 attempts to 90 for DeRozan, man. And that's the thing. And also, since the All-Star game, I looked up how many times at least 8 or more free throw attempts were taken. DeRozan has done it 4 times. LaVine has done it 8 times.
Wow.
8 times already. Just to put that in context for you, he 8 or more free throws for Zach LaVine previously in those 41 games, 8 times.
Wow.
Wow.
Good for him. Yeah.
So 8 times in 41 games and now 8 times in 14
yes,
games?
Correct, man.
Wow.
It's been amazing, man. And just to throw a little more at you, like Zach, let's look up the double digits because I noticed Zach has been doing more double-digit free throw shooting as well. So Zach, 10-plus free throws. He did that 4 times in 48 games. Shot 10-plus free throws. In 14 games since the All-Star break, he's done it 3 times already.
Wow.
It's been incredible what the fouls he's been getting, and it feels like a changing of the guard kind of, you know? He's getting more respect from those officials, but it seems like DeMar isn't getting those same calls. Like, guys are still being able to land in his spot now. And, you know, guys like him, he's a technique guy. You know what I mean? And if they mess with his technique a little bit, it's going to alter his shot. And he's not getting to the free throw line as much. He's already had a 0 free throw game, something he hadn't done since 2021. So it's been wild, you know what I'm saying, just to watch that change over 14 games between Zach and DeMar.
Dave coming in hot with the stats.
Look
We
at
love to
that.
see it. Look at that. And I think the eye test bears it out too, right? Like we've seen LaVine attack the rim aggressively over the past 2 weeks, which is awesome. And it's like it speaks to probably his knee feeling all right enough, which is a good sign. So love to see that continuing. I think DeMar has been settling for a lot more jumpers, and those are just more difficult to get. I would love to see some data about where on the floor DeMar is drawing his fouls. I think probably Second Spectrum has that, but I don't have access. So I'd be really interested to know, just like on drives, is he getting fouled more? On pull-up jump shots, is he getting fouled less now because maybe the refs are starting to call the games a little bit differently? Maybe he's just fading away and not leaning into these shots as much. Who knows? But definitely taking a higher percentage of those shots from the mid-range, which probably means less shots at the rim.
And the DeMar frustration has mounted in that lack of foul calls.
Technical fouls.
We saw that game late in February that we went to against the Grizzlies. He stormed off.
He did.
Got a late game ejection after not drawing a foul on that late play.
It's true.
And then we saw what happened against the Bucks last week when he talked about it and Billy Donovan talked about it after the game. Like what happened to all NBA player DeMar DeRozan, all-star starter DeMar DeRozan, getting these calls from the refs, and now all of a sudden he's not getting any of them. I don't know what's going on there.
It's so strange too, man, because it felt like when the season first started, their focus was kind of changing that.
Right.
And they focused on Harden and they focused on Trae Young. You can tell that what they did.
Right.
Now they feel like they have taken that focus off of those guys and they put it on DeMar DeRozan now since that All-Star break, and you're seeing the results of it, man. Like he's just not getting to the line, and I think what you're saying is well too. Like he is a jump shooter. That's what he is. He doesn't really go to the bucket as hard. It's also when he does, like, because we saw him doing reverse 360 dunks and stuff like that. But he just doesn't do it. But I also think it's because they're just simply not giving him those calls anymore because he hasn't changed anything he's been doing. He hasn't altered that. He was a jump shooter when he got here. And so, it has to be officiating because he hasn't flipped. But Zach, on the other hand, has. You see him going to the bucket much more and stronger. And for some reason, it's not those slap fouls anymore. You know what I mean? It feels like guys are really trying to foul him when
he does this move where he kind of, we've talked about a bunch off the air of just like attacking to the left side, getting to the rim, and then he kind of like leans back and does these deceleration sort of fadeaway shots like at the block. And I really feel like I've noticed him just going right into the body of the contact now, like almost the way Derrick Rose used to, where he would just like jump into a guy's chest and then kind of bounce off and try to lay it in. Yeah. And obviously Derrick never got the amount of calls that he deserved.
He did not.
yeah, I mean, you have to credit Zach for just being super aggressive and going to the rim and finishing at and above the rim.
Right. As opposed to sort of like creating just enough contact to where he thinks he should draw the foul and then kind of falling away from that contact.
Right.
Now he's following through and forcing the refs to say, that was a lot of contact. We should probably blow our whistle.
And I think also like the sort of the way that people act after they get a call or don't, I think kind of matters. Like if you really sell it like you got hit, you're probably more likely to get that call.
True.
And I think he has in the past not really like embellished that as much. So that could be something there too.
Rose never did that.
Rose never did that.
It's when this
He's from Chicago, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's not his style, bro. We take it real out here.
Floppers. Worst kind of basketball players, the floppers.
Yeah.
All right, so going back to this Knicks team, led by Tibbs, 4th seed last year, maybe the surprise team in a lot of ways that people see the Bulls as the surprise team in the East this year. They did get bounced in the first round after finishing as the number 4 seed last year. And then offseason changes, Kemba was the big one, right? You know, they bring in Kemba Walker. They also bring in Evan Fournier. You're like, okay, well, this is our team now, along with the development of Randall and Barrett. And it has not worked out. Any educated guesses or hypotheses as to what exactly the problem has been? Is it just Tibbs after just a season and a half having his guys tune out because they're sick of him? Is it the regression of Randall, who was like legit all NBA caliber player last season and has certainly not been as much that kind of dominant player this season?
Yeah.
What is it?
You know, it's a little of both of that, honestly. I told all my New York friends, like, you're going to love Tibbs in year one. You're going to love him.
Year one's great.
Year one Tibbs is amazing, all right? But then once he has that success, he expects things. He's like, okay, I showed you what I can do. Now give me what I want.
More.
More power. More. You see it. I got a Coach of the Year trophy. Give me more, New York. And New York, like, of course, we haven't won in forever. You can take anything you want. Great. Cool. I'm not playing Cam Reddish. You know you traded for him. Kemba Walker, never going to play again on this team. He's going to have to do it his way. He's going to play his guys. Now, everywhere he's gone, he's gotten his guys. That's what he does. When he went to Minnesota, Luol Deng, why? Come on down. You know, Taj Gibson, come on down. Derrick Rose, come on down. He's going to play with his guys, period. He's not about developing. He never has been about developing those young guys.
And his guys are getting old.
And his guys are getting super old.
Taj is playing
Now,
like 20-plus minutes off the bench.
That's insane.
For this Knicks team.
That's crazy.
Love you, Taj.
And you saw and you knew what was going to happen with Julius Randle. I was like,
yeah, I want to read these
max
numbers.
Out, and you know what's going to happen. He's going to max out, and then that next year he's going to get tired of it, and he's going to just go Julius Randle on it, man. And you're kind of seeing those results. But
I would not be surprised if last year was the best year of his career. He was 24 points last year. Now he's down to 20. He was 10 rebounds last year, which is what he's at this year. 6 assists. Now he's 5.1. The percentages, though, he was 45.6% from the field this year, 41.3%, and 41.1% from 3 this year, 30.9.
Oh,
and he's like the whole fulcrum of the offense. That bad? So
I think so, Joey.
Look
away, Joey. It's
not
hideous.
Is that bad?
When the guy with the most usage on your team, who your offense is really going through, if he's taken that much of a step back, you're not going to win. Yeah. And then the other thing that I'm just looking here on Basketball Reference is their expected win-loss percentage, or their expected win-loss record. Right now, they are 33-42. Their Pythagorean wins would suggest that they're 36-39. So they're underperforming a little bit. I would have expected to see them overperforming last year, but that was not the case. So I think it's just kind of a combination of all these other things. Plus, the Celtics are really good this year. The Bulls are really good this year. All these other teams kind of jump in them in the standings.
Plus Tibbs.
Man. So this is year 2.
Yes.
For Tibbs of a 5-year contract that he signed with the Knicks.
Yes.
That is rumored to be right in the range of $4 million annually, $20 million contract.
Whew.
James Dolan is really a fan of blaming other people when things go wrong with his organization. I've heard from everyone over there in New York City already that Tibbs is getting put under the axe for this.
Oh, yeah.
The way that this season has gone.
Yeah.
Which means that James Dolan is going to pay Tibbs for 3 years to not coach.
It's incredible.
Which the Bulls also pulled that move to pay Tom Thibodeau to not coach.
Minnesota.
And then the Bulls paid Fred Hoiberg to not coach.
Don't go down this
And
road,
then the
Matt.
Bulls paid.
Come back, Matt. Come back.
You know who?
Come back. Come back.
I'm sorry, what was I talking about? But it is
service
a
of
move
love.
that a lot of NBA owners do. They say, this isn't the right coach. This is not our guy. You're fired. We'll hire somebody else, and we'll pay you to not coach. And it looks like that is what could be on deck for Tibbs this offseason.
It's wild because it feels like his MO, right? Like he gets these long contracts and this power, on top of that. That was one of the things here. He wasn't going to get that power here. You know what I mean? It's just not going to be a thing.
Well, the interesting thing about these, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Sure.
but I believe when you get fired as a coach, you are paid for the rest of your contract until you sign a new contract.
Correct.
So I think the bigger question here is, if they get rid of Tibbs, does he get another job in the league?
I say yes. I think he would.
I said yes after the Minnesota debacle because Minnesota Timberwolves are just like a dumpster fire organization. So you can't blame all of that on him. After the way that this Knicks tenure has gone, I would be surprised to see Tibbs get another head coaching offer. I really would. And I hate saying that because Tibbs is my guy. I love Tibbs.
And I say he will because it's hard to tell a two-time coach of the year you're not going to be the coach of a new team. And he won last year. You know what I mean? So teams can say, well, stuff just didn't go right. We could fix it. We could change some things around. He was coach of the year. Look what he did in New York. That will give him another job and something else to look forward to, I think.
This is something that you don't really see these days, but I think it'd be cool if he took a shorter contract because it's going to go sour by the end.
Yeah.
And I think, but he is really, really good at turning things around.
He is.
So he comes in on like a 2-year deal, 3-year deal, and he comes in and turns around a franchise,
Right.
gets them to start playing defense, gets them to execute, to do their homework, to understand the game. And when things go bad, then you either, fire him or
Eject.
if things are going great, then you re-sign him. But I think it's kind of something that you would see with older players in the NBA, right, where they're starting to sign these smaller deals. They get to choose where they want to be. They have more agency in like what their career looks like. It'd be interesting to see coaches start to make those kinds of contracts as well.
And that's why I think he'll go because you think Sacramento's going to say no to Tom Thibodeau? They're going to
Best fit for Tibbs right now.
Say it again.
Best fit for Tibbs currently in the league. Sacramento?
Sacramento, man.
Let's bring him into L.A. Teach LeBron about the
Are you
value of
kidding me?
defense.
No.
I think LeBron would love that.
No, they would love him
I think they
for
were going
half
to
a season.
LA would hate Tibbs.
I think LeBron would love being told what to do on that
half a
on that
season.
micromanaging level.
They'll
He
be
would.
with
He
exactly-
would. The first time he would make fun of somebody's avocado toast, they would throw a hissy fit and kick him out of town.
That's you. That's you.
Oh, Tibbs and I are of like mind in that regard. I promise you.
What are you saying, Will?
I don't know what I'm ever saying. I will say this piece of breaking news from Young-Misuk of ESPN. Paul George has been upgraded to questionable to play tomorrow's game against Utah.
Wow.
So he's been out with the UCL for a
That's
while,
big.
and the Bulls play the Clippers on
Thursday.
Thursday.
Sure do.
And I saw that episode or that update earlier today that was saying, they're looking at him and he could be cleared to play as soon as later this week. And so now on top of that, you're saying questionable tomorrow.
That's huge, man.
Yeah, and you know they want to bring him back for a home game. They're
course.
playing home tomorrow, and then away Bulls on Thursday, away Bucks on Friday. So it would make sense, and we'll see how many games he ends up playing this week. But
When it comes to players that are coming off of those long absences, usually when that questionable tag pops up,
They're playing.
means they're playing.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Means they're playing. It happened with Caruso before he came back. Happened with Derrick
Pat.
Jones Jr. before he came back.
Pat, too.
Yep.
He was questionable
Beat
as well.
up. All right,
Would love
that's
to
it.
see
So
Lonzo
we didn't have
questionable
time.
on
So
Thursday.
come back for post game and we'll get into some of this MJ flashback stuff that we want to talk about because MJ on March 28th is just an awesome day throughout
pretty awesome
history.
day.
Throughout
Yes.
history, and some of it happened at the Garden where the Bulls are about to tip off
Thanks,
against
Knicks.
the Knicks. So let's all watch this Bulls-Knicks game together. It's going to be a W. We'll come back here and talk about it right here on our CHGO Sports YouTube channel. That's Will. That's Big Dave. I'm Matt.
I'm Will.
Shouts to our producer, Joey. We will be right here for post game. See you then. See you, Red. Be good.